Hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about stuff. Welcome back to another episode of This Happened and No One Was Talking About It for Some Reason. News. There's no echo there, but you get the idea. The company MicroStrategy in the cryptocurrency space is kind of synonymous with like we own all the Bitcoin at this point. They're a company, I think they were known for like technology and hardware. Once again, I think a number of years ago. But they quickly flew into the cryptocurrency space as a company who liked Bitcoin. In the original olden days, we heard that they were holding like 8,000 Bitcoin and then 15,000 Bitcoin, and that quickly or unquickly, 2 years is still kind of quick, ballooned into them having around I think it's 205,000 Bitcoin or something like that. For those of you who missed the other video a couple of weeks ago when that news was released, they now officially have more than 1% of all the Bitcoin that could ever be. They've been buying nonstop continuously. What's interesting about MicroStrategy and their CEO, Michael Saylor, is that like he really loves Bitcoin. He doesn't kind of like Bitcoin, but he really likes Bitcoin. And he's one of the people who thinks that we are actually going to a $10 million Bitcoin over the course of like the next 10 years. It's actually a shorter time frame. He thinks like before like 2030 that we're going to be in this really weird situation where everyone's kind of pricing things already in Bitcoin. But alas, another conversation for another time. MicroStrategy has adopted Bitcoin as kind of like their treasury reserve asset, which also doesn't really make news a lot. It usually ends up always being MicroStrategy bought Bitcoin, here's how much it's worth now. MicroStrategy bought some more Bitcoin, here's the average price of the Bitcoin that they bought. And not that. We're actually seeing companies who are choosing to forego the dollar and the euro and the yen and local currencies to have Bitcoin as their main asset. That's the spectacular part, is that we're seeing this happening more and more around the world at a very quick pace, especially as Bitcoin is currently cheap comparatively to where it's going to go in the future. These companies are going to probably be worth hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars. The significance, once again, is that every time news like this comes out, because it's not as spectacular as hearing the numbers that BlackRock and Fidelity are currently doing. Even I told you before, remember we had news a 4 or 5 weeks ago where MicroStrategy had over 200,000 Bitcoin. And the news that day was not that they acquired Bitcoin, is that BlackRock had just reached the exact same number as MicroStrategy. So once again, the topic was on BlackRock. And then the next day, BlackRock already had more Bitcoin than MicroStrategy. So guess who dropped out of the news? And it was no longer significant that these people have over 200,000 Bitcoin in a company and they're using it instead of like actual treasury bills or bonds. They're using Bitcoin instead. A company by the name of MetaPlanet Inc. has announced that they are going to follow in MicroStrategy's footsteps, and they are going to be using Bitcoin as their principal component of their treasury assets. Initially investing 1 billion Japanese yen, which comes out to $6.56 million. This is gigantic. The problem is, and I know it, the moment I said the numbers, some of you went, and then you heard 6.5 million, and you went, okay. It's because you don't understand that it doesn't take a lot to make a lot happen. We're so, and the term isn't desensitized, but it might actually be in this situation, to hearing that these companies are buying $400, $500, $600 million worth of Bitcoin. So when you hear $6 million, you go, well, it's just 6. And I always make sure to say, do you have $6.5 million to throw into Bitcoin? Probably not. And then what happens is that we keep hearing about these companies over and over the course of years. The other issue is that every time that a company does something like this, They're taking huge portions of Bitcoin that would ever be had by any other company, millionaire, billionaire, and or regular citizen walking around the world. This is, remember, and this is also something that I don't understand how people pass this over. A number of years ago, we heard, a lot of you probably weren't here, that in Brazil, Bitcoin's very, and I mean like popular. I believe it was in Rio and one other city that they're using their actual, what do you call it? Not their treasury fund, like the city's money, basically. I think they're allocating 1% of that into Bitcoin all the time. We see hyper Bitcoinization happening right in front of us, but I think that most people kind of want like sparkles and fireworks and things like that to no, really though, like think about it. It's the same exact thing with the halving. I was discussing with my friend and I said the craziest part about the halving is we could be outside, we could be in a car, we could be going for a walk, we could be playing video games, we could be doing something completely different. And it happens behind the scenes because it's all digital. We kind of expect like a really grandiose thing to take place as the halving is happening. Like people, like cars stop, people start honking their horns and everyone like throws it and banging on plates and stuff like that. But it happens in silence. And this is the same exact way that this situation is right now as well. You can hear the news that a company is buying millions of dollars on their first go, buying millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, this brand new thing that's been out for 15 years. You can go, okay, well, you know, let's see let's see if they ever get up to MicroStrategy. The problem is that you'll never get to $6.5 million worth of Bitcoin in one day. Because by the time, if you do get to $6.5 million per Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's price has risen, they will have 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 times that. The amount of Bitcoin that's being accumulated is like actually like disgustingly staggering. And this is every single day. Sorry, my blood pressure is going up. Every single day, we have news like this. And I understand that people want, in some way, the narrative to just be $500 million per day, $500 million per day. Look at the price rising. But you're not understanding whatever is left on the table, there's not a lot left. It's constantly being picked at. I don't want to use the term vultures, but it's constantly being taken away more and more every single day. $6.5 million worth of Bitcoin in one go is insane. And when we hear about other companies doing the exact same thing, and for those of you who've been missing the last like 12 videos, there's 5 other companies in 5 other countries who are also going to be launching their own Bitcoin ETFs as well. I don't know if it's because after a 24-hour period, our minds reset and we go, okay, let's see what's happening with the market now. If I had the patience, and I could give you clips of every single video of me telling you how much Bitcoin is being bought up by these companies and these institutions over and over and over and over, I think even that wouldn't still be enough for the human mind to really comprehend that there's not a lot of Bitcoin left for everyone else out there. The ideas of price dips potentially being completely over because they're bought up so quick by these other companies. These new companies, people are calling this the MicroStrategy of Asia because they're basically starting the exact same way that MicroStrategy did. What happens when 8 other companies like this all pop up and they announce per month they're only buying $1 million per Bitcoin? People go, well, no, it's not BlackRock. And it's like, no, you're missing the point. That 13 new Bitcoin is constantly being taken off of the market every single day. Anyway, yeah, there's like a little blurb about them. I don't have to really read it. It's basically them saying that they're very thrilled at what they're doing. They're very excited for it. They see that the world is changing and Bitcoin is going to be a principal component of their treasury asset going forward. Yeah. Continue to pay attention. Continue to look at the trends to see where everything is going. All these companies who are talking, and I mean it completely. I appreciate all the support over the last couple of years. And I know that a lot of people out there do get it. But I notice a lot of times people who are in the market, they focus on other things that aren't important. And it's like the goal has always been to get other people into the market. The people who should be getting into the market are now like conglomerates and gigantic companies. So you're not hearing about a friend who bought 1/4 of a Bitcoin, 1/2 of a Bitcoin a couple of years ago. You're talking about companies. Did that weird cutoff thing. You're talking about companies now who are buying like massive amounts that normally thousands of people would buy if they were buying fragments of Bitcoin. And as this continues to happen, Bitcoin hyper Bitcoinization is going to take hold. Like there's literally no way around it at this point. Like we are on the path to Bitcoin taking over every other asset. Just pay attention and notice your placement in the market. And if you think it's right to maybe do more. Yeah, it's just, this is significant news, right? I heard someone say, yeah, so high five to you. I think that's going to do it for this video. Yeah, MetaPlanet is going to be buying millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. We will hear when their next purchase happens because that's how it always ends up taking place. And I think people will probably only maybe really pay attention to them when they get past 50,000 Bitcoin, which is a bit of a shame as well, because that's also an egregious amount of Bitcoin that could have been purchased by the people who were not paying attention to them. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.